How's it going, my truant people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back with week 1 of the UBL, and this week your Bowland Bovines are going up against Ultraplayer and his West Virginia Miniors. Ultraplayer is someone that I have played 3 times now. I have lost 3 times to now. Very good player. I choked one of those games away, but the other 2 he just beat me resoundingly. And even the one that I choked away, there's some debate to be had about that. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. But nevertheless, in my opinion, a superb player. Runner-up in APA recently, runner-up in NPL Minors recently, just a top quality player, and I cannot wait to battle him again. This is going to be our first time on Wi-Fi, so I'm excited for that. As ever, guys, if you want to skip ahead, a timestamp should be appearing over to my left as you look at me, I believe, over there, I think, so that you can skip ahead. Just click to that timestamp on the video and you can just watch the battle, but I am going to go through a team builder now. Hopefully these graphics are all alright. I've kind of done them myself for this, so if you don't like the graphics or if you have feedback on what I can improve on the graphics, then just let me know down below, but hopefully they are pretty good. So shout out to my front office for helping me build, helping me mock, and all that good stuff. I did not feel confident going into this matchup, if I'm honest. I know that my front office hated building with Ultraplayer's team, but I feel like that was more of a stylistic difference. The people that I was able to mock with, I don't feel play like how Ultraplayer plays. So regardless, let's jump into it with the first mon that we have on the team. As we kick off the build with Mega Glalie. Ricer is here, the kind of mega that people see as a meme, but that we picked up this season is here to do some work, hopefully week 1. You can see my opponent's team on the left there. So this is what I'm saying about the team builder graphics. If like that's too small or whatever, then let me know. I'm not going to run through my opponent's team because you can kind of see it, hopefully. But I figured this was quite a good visual way of doing it. But Ricer is here. With double edge Earthquake Taunt Spikes. Basically, we can double edge through most of his team. His switch-ins look to be the Celesteela, possibly the Steelix, maybe the Persian, maybe the Mesprit, maybe the Tentacruel. There's kind of half switch-ins there, but they can lose to Earthquake, a lot of them. Taunt prevents things like Steelix and Mesprit getting at rocks on me, which is pretty nice. It also prevents Mesprit from like T-waving me or any shenanigans like that. Spikes, if I can get them up on forced switches, really chip down his team with things like Floor just being broken down by them, which is great for the rest of my team. So yeah, I just feel like this was a pretty good set coverage wise. I maybe could bring Ice Shard to hit the Mega Sceptile, but Mega Sceptile has no matchup in my opinion against me, so I just don't see it coming. But regardless, that's the first set on the team. Number 2, we have Bosch, the Rotom Wash here. You can probably hear me clicking. I am live editing this. Again, just trying to make the videos more smooth and better. Also make them easier for me to produce as well, so that I don't fall behind as I did with the final week of APA, but there we go. So this is Bosch, the Rotom Wash, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, DeFog, and Volt Switch. Pretty much hits this whole team. Fairly offensive because I feel like he just doesn't switch into this. I did consider like a Trick Scarf set to try and hit the floor just with the Scarf, and then I was like, actually, I don't really want Scarf Floor just against me because it does hit fairly hard, and my team still doesn't like it. So instead, I just decided to try and get momentum off that thing. But for the most part, this kind of like, I don't think he has good switch-ins to Rotom Wash at all, offensively, typing-wise. Pretty much the Mega Sceptile is the only thing that can really switch in. So yeah, I think that Rotom Wash is a really good matchup here. A lot of momentum on this set, with the Aya Papa Berry, of course, giving us longevity. Then moving into set 3, we have Big Steve, Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch, T-Punch, and Rock Tomb. So this originally was going to be a Pangoro, EV'd specifically to take on, I think I've got the wrong item on here I have, which is annoying. I left the Aya Papa Berry on from the Rotom slide. There's actually Muscle Band to try and maximize that damage output, help me get some rolls on some stuff. But yeah, this was originally a Pangoro set, which was supposed to kind of wall the Lycanroc Dusk, because I figured that his Lycanroc Dusk would be pretty prepped for Metagross. But when I was mocking, people kept pointing out that Metagross was like a really big offensive threat to his team, because he doesn't switch in very well to this moveset if you look at his team. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is true. And so people like, you know, I was really scared of Metagross and prep, and I was like, yeah, okay. So I dropped out Pangoro for this Metagross. I kind of regret that now because I just wanted to use Pangoro, but nevertheless, Big Steve hopefully can put in work this game. I'm sorry about the mistake on the item. Then, set 5, we have Cagliostro, Lycanroc. This is kind of our win con. It does outspeed his whole team apart from the Mega Sceptile, which I don't think is coming, and potential Scarf Pessimium, which is a bit 50-50 to come. And with that Splintered Storm Shards on the Lycanium Z, we can bop the Celesteela. If we get some chip on it, we can bop the Florges. We can pretty much hit everything. Scarf Porygon Z is another option that I have to look out for. But with the ACCELROCK there, we can hit things like the Lycanroc Dusk and potential Scarf Porygon Z too. Pretty hard. Lycanroc Dusk I don't expect to be Scarf, by the way, but if it's chipped down and it wants to ACCELROCK me, I can out-prioritize him because I am a higher speed tier than him, so mine will go off first. I have found this thing pretty underwhelming in prep. Stealth Rock is nice, obviously, but it doesn't get it up very reliably because it's frail as hell. It also just doesn't hit that hard. 115 base attack seems like decent, but in practice, it's, I don't know, I think it's like equivalent to like Sneasel or something. Like, it's okay, but it's I don't know, it was a little bit underwhelming in the mock, so I'm hoping that in the battle this thing can put in work and prove me wrong. Now in the penultimate set we have Wukong. This is the primary breaker to support Risa and hopefully get the Cagliostro sweep. Wukong is here with S stance, sword stance to hit everything essentially with that coverage. If you look, close combat's going to bop the Lycanroc, the Porygon Z, the Persian, the Passimian, and the Steelix, as well as the Sceptile, of course. T-Punch is going to hit the Celesteela, and the Tentacruel, and Poison Jab is going to hit the Florges. Pretty much the only thing that we don't hit for decent / super effective damage is Mesprit, but even SD into T-Punch with Iron Fist will hit Mesprit pretty hard if it's already chipped down by something like the Mega Glalie. So, with that in mind, I feel like this thing can break. We have the Shuka Berry on there, basically. If Autotomy Celesteela looks like it's going to sweep, we can take an Earthquake and hit him with a big Iron Fist Thunder Punch to wear him down. So I feel like this is just a good safety net to Autotomy Celesteela that otherwise does kind of put the work in against my team. That being said, I think it's more likely to be a bulky Celesteela, but my front office all brought offensive Celesteela and mocks, and this is what I'm talking about being a slightly different playstyle, is that I don't think that's how Ultraplayer will use it, but nevertheless, I need to have some kind of insurance just in case. And then the final one on the team is Swalot. Swalot is here week 1. Unfortunately, Sierra Leone did not fit, so it is just going to be nicknamed Sierra for now. But Sierra is here with Gunk Shot, Fire Punch, Earthquake, and Power Up Punch, and the Assault Vest. This thing basically takes on Celesteela. Liquid Ooze means that we can switch in on Leech Seed, and he actually takes damage, which is awesome to stop that thing just getting healthier and healthier. Power Up Punch, it's Fire Punch, basically means we can 1v1 him as well. We eat up Heavy Slams. Now, if he's got Earthquake, that's going to be a bit of a problem, but if you say, like, Heavy Slam, Fire Blast, then we can kind of take him on a little bit. It also kind of takes on Thunderous to some extent. However, the one problem with this set is that if he is, like, Scarf or Specs Thunderous with Volt Switch is super free now. Hopefully he's U-Turn or he's some kind of setup variant without pivoting, but if he is some kind of momentum variant, then this set really is not great, because as much as I can switch in, he just Volt Switches out and gets some nice chip off, so, and keeps the momentum up. If that is the case, then I need to prioritize getting rocks up if I can. I'm just going to have to see how the game plays out. But yeah, this set actually works really, really well in terms of just being like a bulky sponge that just fires off hits. I can also come in on the floor just all the time and gunk shot that thing. So yeah, I feel like this set could put in work. Who knows? That is the team. Let me know what you guys think. If you're hyped to see Sierra Leone in action, let me know. But without wasting any more of your time, let's jump into the battle. So here we are in the battle, guys, and as you can see, my man Ultraplayer brought the Mesprit, the Celesteela, the Porygon Z, the Thundurus T, the Lycanroc, and the Florges. Now, you can see on the layout, he doesn't have any shinies. I'm disappointed in him. If nothing else, we've won the shiny game. He has some great shinies on his team, so I don't know why he hasn't brought any shinies. But, nevertheless, pretty scary team. Pretty scary team. One thing in particular bothers me is this offensive core of Porygon Z, Thundurus, and Lycanroc. These are pretty much the most scary offensive ones I could see on his build here. I do think that either the Porygon Z or the Thundurus has to be Scarf, potentially, in this matchup. Whichever one isn't Scarf, I could easily see being a nasty plot variant, or even potentially Z on either the Lycanroc or the Porygon Z. The Celesteela, I think on this team competition 100% will be defensive, despite my front office insisting that it will be offensive. I think on this team competition it's going to be defensive. I think that just comes down to difference in playstyle. And again, the Florges and Mesprit I expect to be pretty defensive too. Mesprit looks like standard rocks, U-turn defensive, and Florges, I dare say, is either defensive or Calm Mind defensive. In general, I feel like my team has a pretty nice offensive matchup. Metagross kind of goes ham here. Mega Glalie kind of goes ham here. Wukong kind of goes ham here. So offensively, I feel like if I position things properly and I pick up the right KOs and make the right sacks, I feel like we can really get this right. But I do need to play every turn very carefully because Ultraplayer is a top level player and I can't give him any room to kind of beat me down. I think this game is going to come hugely down to momentum, but I'm hoping that we can keep it, we can maintain it and kind of win this. Lycanroc for the end game looks great. If I can get some chip on Celesteela, which I think Glalie can force, if I can get some chip on the Florges, which I think Wukong can force, and maybe if I can get a little bit of chip on this Lycanroc, which it will be more tricky, but if I can do that, maybe with Swallow or something, then I think we can win this end game with the Lycanroc. So yeah, I have to give a huge shout out to SareneGrace for recording this battle for me. I forgot to shout her out at the beginning, so I sincerely apologize. But yeah, she recorded this for me, and I'm very, very grateful to her. So let's jump into this and try and get this I just spilled water on myself. Commentated properly, because it's actually my second time recording the commentary for this battle, because I just finished doing it the first time and I really wasn't satisfied with my analysis, so I'm doing it again. Let me know what you guys think of the layout and stuff. Is the game screen big enough? Let me know. So I decided to leave with Mega Glalie because, like I say, I feel like it breaks his team down so well. I am free to pretty much just fire off a double edge if he leads with anything but Mesprit or Lycanroc. Now, unfortunately, he does lead with the Mesprit. And here I want to taunt because the last thing I want to do is take double edge recoil plus potential Rocky Helmet chip, because I think this thing will be Rocky Helmet, plus Rock's chip later on. So I just want to taunt this, hopefully stop him from getting rocks up and then fire off a big double edge. Unfortunately, he goes straight into Celesteela, which really surprised me. So instead of being able to taunt and stop rocks, I also have to say, I got Rice's shiny wrong. This is supposed to be shiny, and it isn't. Again, I can only apologize. This thing had to be gen differently because of its moveset, and I am still learning how to gen properly, so I kind of messed that up. It will be shiny for the next time we use it. So we're going to pivot out here into Rotom Wash because this thing is taunted. The one nice thing about it is it can't go for Leech Seeds if it's a defensive set. He goes for the Heavy Slam here, which is, it was either going to be Heavy Slam, Earthquake, or Flamethrower, or a double. And I didn't think the double was very safe on his part, so he does reveal the Heavy Slam, which we eat up. And here, made a bit of an error. Basically, when I was writing down his team at the beginning of the battle, I was rushing to get stuff sorted, and I only wrote down 5 mons on his team, and the mon I missed out was Thundy T. I don't know why, I just missed it out. So when I looked at his team that I'd written down, I knew I'd only got 5 mons, but I didn't know straight away. So when I looked at his team, I was like, oh, he's got no electric resist. Volt Switch is free, give me that momentum, lovely jubbly. So I clicked Volt Switch here, predicting him to switch out, and then I was like, counted the mons on the thing that I'd written down. I was like, I've only got 5 here. Where is the 6th mon? And then this thing came out, and I was like, oh, this was the 6th mon. Why did I click so fast? That was really poor. So this wasn't like, this isn't me being like, oh, I've got an excuse. I only wrote down 5 mons. This is me being like, I'm an idiot. This was a really big misplay. And this is one of the things about playing on Wi-Fi, is that playing on Wi-Fi is not just like, do you know the optimum play each turn or whatever, optimal play. It's also like, how well do you manage information, how well do you keep track of things, how well do you remember things, because it's a lot different to Showdown, and I can't really explain it if you haven't played. So we just Volt Switch into this thing and lose all momentum, and because I have no ground type, he's free to click Volt Switch here, and there's nothing I can do. So really bad turn of plays for me and Bosch here, and I 100% would have Hydro Pumped into that. Now I might have missed anyway, and I say that because we missed the next Hydro Pump we go for anyway. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I know I would have clicked Hydro Pump there and maybe would have got about 50% off on that Thunderous, putting it in ACCELROCK range for later in the game. Maybe maybe I would have missed anyway because we did miss that one right there on the Mesprit, which also does suck. Well, you'll see why in just a second. But I'm just going to go hard Glalie here as he gets his rocks up. So in these first few turns, I've played really badly, frankly. I taunted on a switch out. I don't regret that play. And then I got Rotom Wash in, but rather than like doubling to stop the Mesprit coming in or pumping into the Thunderous, instead I just stayed in and Volt Switched, and that was a really bad play because it just lost me all momentum. And then I could have Volt Switched again because he was fairly obviously going for the Volt Switch into my Rotom there. I could have just Volt Switched again and got momentum off on this Mesprit, but instead I clicked Hydro Pump, which I then missed. So, and he got rocks up for free. So it was just a catalogue of errors there. One thing I would say is that Hydro Pump probably would have 2-hit KO'd this thing had I been able to connect the first one and a second, but when you're relying on landing 2 Hydro Pumps, you're not in a great spot. The other reason that missing that Hydro Pump sucked is because not only do I take Rocky Helmet Chip plus a recoil, but he then gets the U-turn off, whereas if I'd landed that Hydro Pump, he would be dead now. It's not ideal, and it preserves him a sack in the back, so definitely, like, the missing the Hydro Pump there really sucked, but I only have myself to blame, because I did not manage the information well, I did not write things down properly, I played pretty badly, and this is a really interesting turn here, because basically, he doesn't have to miss this this Stone Edge onto Glalie. He can click Drill Run if he has Drill Run, he can click Crunch if he has Crunch, he can click ACCELROCK if he has ACCELROCK. He doesn't have to miss the 100% inaccurate. He doesn't have to miss the inaccurate move. He can go for a 100% accurate move. Now I'm hoping that he has Drill Run and he doesn't click it because he doesn't want the Rotom coming in, and instead he goes for the ACCELROCK because the ACCELROCK would guarantee to land and kill the Glalie, and it would guarantee to land and kill the Rotom after rocks damage plus a second ACCELROCK. So I'm really sitting here thinking, yeah, I think that's his play. I think he has to ACCELROCK twice, because he can't risk the Drill Run on the Rotom because that would put him in a bad spot and lose him a lot of momentum. So with that in mind, I think I can bring in Big Steve, but if he does Drill Run, it's not like it's a bad play on his part. And he actually turns out he is running the Crunch, and I didn't expect this at all. I thought he would run Drill Run for sure over Crunch, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't think he has Sucker Punch then. And he does. I was 100% like expecting these moves to be a possibility, but I didn't think if he had one, he would have the other. And I thought Drill Run was way more likely than Crunch to begin with, because it would be able to hit like the Diggersby harder probably, and certainly be able to hit the Pangoro harder. So I thought for sure he would be some sort of like Stone Edge, Drill Run, ACCELROCK, maybe Sucker Punch. But when he showed Crunch, I was like, okay, so he's Drill Run, ACCELROCK, Stone Edge, Crunch. He doesn't have Sucker Punch, so I can Bullet Punch him there. So I went for the Bullet Punch with Big Steve, because that would put him in ACCELROCK range later from my Lycanroc if somehow he lived. But yeah, unfortunately that doesn't happen, so you might wonder why I go Rotom here. I'm not Scarf Ape, I don't outspeed this thing. I could try and bluff that, but I feel like he's winning, and he doesn't necessarily have to buy my bluff. Instead, I feel like going Rotom means that he has to choose whether he wants to land a Stone Edge or not, and if he decides to not land the Stone Edge, because I think he's bypassed on a ACCELROCK. I think he still has Drill Run, but I think he doesn't have a ACCELROCK, so I think he's still OK my 8 with Drill Run. So with that in mind, or if he's Z, he can still Z me. So with that in mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go Rotom, and he has to now choose whether he wants to land a Stone Edge or not, and I don't think he will. I don't think he'll want to try and land a Stone Edge, which will give me Hydro Pump damage on this Thundurus, like I should have had earlier if I'd wrote that stuff down properly. So that's why I made that play, because I know that Ultraplayer is a very good player, and I don't feel like he's going to take the potentially risk his win con or one of his win cons on a Stone Edge miss this early in the game when he's in the lead like this, especially when this thing can come in on anything I can do and regain momentum by clicking Volt Switch there, because they didn't bring a damn ground type. So this thing is going to be able to Volt Switch out, and I'm like, I still don't know if it's Scarf. I feel like it's Scarf, but I really don't know. The Porygon Z could be Scarf in the back, so I'm going to have to bring out Rhysa here. And you might wonder why I brought out Rhysa instead of Ape. As you can see there, it's so that I can click Spike, because he still has a Mesprit in the back to sack. And I'm almost certain, because we missed that Hydro Pump, god damn it, but that's, you know, swings around about. So because I'm pretty sure he's going to sack Mesprit here, I can get at least one, if not two layers of spikes up, and that will really help to chip down the Lycanroc and the Porygon Z for my Lycanroc in the endgame, as well as the Florges too. I'm going to have to play this aggressive game. I know this seems needlessly aggressive, but I feel like I have to do that. And I also feel like he won't give me the Celesteela, as it is something that still eats up a hit from Lycanroc really, really well. However, he does just stay in. I'm guessing he was calling me here. I'm guessing he was just calling me out, or felt that he could still win the endgame with just a combination of like Florges and Porygon and stuff, which is, you know, distinctly possible. I'm not quite sure. So we do lose Rhysa here on me being aggressive. I still think that was the right play, I think. I'm not sure. If we'd gone for the damage there, then maybe Lycanroc would be looking really great in this endgame right now, but I'm not sure. So here I go for the SD, hoping that this will force out the Mesprit this time, and I can get a Swords Dance up. But instead he chooses to stay in and go for the Leech Seed. Even if he'd gone for the Earthquake, I had the Shooker, so I wasn't too worried about that. So I was like, yeah, this will be fine. He just goes for the Leech Seed, and I'm like, that really sucks. As he goes for the Protect, revealing this is defensive Celesteela. Makes perfect sense. We do still have that Spike up though, so he can't really very easily go Florges here. If he takes a Flare Blitz with Florges, that thing is going to be bopped. If I had some way of killing Mesprit without taking Rocky Helmet Chip I would, but I don't, so I just might as well click Flare Blitz here. There's no point in me clicking Thunder Punch. I'm only going to take like 1 point of Flare Blitz recoil anyway, and I'm going to have to take Rocky Helmet Chip regardless, so it's like, yeah, may as well. I could have SD'd again there, but if he is Scarf Thundurus, I gained nothing by SDing again there, because Scarf Thundy just came in and revenged me. So here he is going to go out into the Thundurus, and I'm like, yeah, this boy's Scarf. There's no way he's bluffing me here. He's Scarf. We're so late in the game now, and he's so many pieces ahead of me that him bluffing the Scarf here is completely needless. So I think that he's just going to go for the Volt Switch, and I know Sierra will eat it, and then Sierra will be able to get Chip on anything else that comes in, and then get Ape back in for free to hopefully kill anything, and then maybe I can win in the endgame with Lycanroc. I'm probably going to be relying on some crits though, but we can go for it. Who knows? So he goes into Porygon Z here, and I'm guaranteed to take any move he goes for, even a Breakneck Blitz, assuming he's timid Porygon Z. I will chew this up because of my investment, and I can fire off a big Gunk Shot, which will get Chip on this, and actually can potentially bring me out Lycanroc, can potentially bring me out Ape, however I want to play it. This was not the mon that I particularly wanted him to go into, though. I was more hoping that he would go into Celesteela on the Swallow, but instead he goes into this, and it turns out he is modest, so he does go Swallow. So Swallow came week 1, and sponged a Volt Switch, and then got bopped by a Z Porygon Z, so it did nothing. Really, really disappointing. I can go to Wukong, click close combat here. I know he's going to sack this and just not bother preserving differential. There's no reason for him to. The way he played the Celesteela, I can see he is not interested in preserving differential. There's no point in me over-predicting. I'm just going to close combat. I don't think from this point I can win the game anyway, especially if he is Scarf Thunderous. The fact that Thunderous comes out again instead of Lycanroc, I'm like, yeah, this thing's Scarf. There's no way in hell it isn't. Like, Lycanroc would come out if it wasn't, as I couldn't KO him with a neutral Muck Punch. I don't believe. You've seen I'm not Life Orb or anything, so, yeah. I mean, I guess I could be Scarf, but still, he's definitely Scarf, and he Volt Switches there, proving that he is Scarf and KOs me. Out comes Cagliostro, and I still have a chance, maybe, if I crit Z this, then I crit Z the Florges. I need to use 2 Zs, but it's fine. And then I crit the, whatever else is left too. Basically, this ain't happening, but we can go for the Z here and maybe preserve a point of differential if we crit. I'm gonna not play this animation because I think it gets copyright claimed, so we do the big hand business and we Z this thing, and unfortunately we don't get a crit, and he's going to be able to heavy slam me for the KO. So we do end up losing this game 4-0. I think he has the Florges, the Celesteela, the Lycanroc. Florges, Celesteela, Lycanroc. I mean, you guys don't know, it's on the layout. Oh, and the Celesteela, of course. Wait, I already said that. And the Thunderous, because the Thunderous Volt Switch, didn't it? And the Thunderous in the back. So, yeah, in essence, we had super lost this game by that point anyway. I feel like I made some mistakes with this team, specifically bringing Metagross instead of Pangoro, because he clearly was very well prepped for Metagross, and I feel like that was one of the things that should have given me an indication. When my front office were like, when we were mocking you, we found it really hard to prep for Metagross, that should have given me an indication that he would be well prepped for Metagross. I feel like Pangoro would have really changed that middle portion of the battle where I just sacked Metagross for no reason and then had to make a ballsy play with Rotom. I just felt like it was this whole thing where it put me in a really, really bad position because I didn't bring the Pangoro. Secondly, I really, really regret how I played around in the mid-game, not Hydro Pumping into the Thunderous switch. Yeah, I might have missed, but at least I would be able to stand by my plays if I'd made that play. Instead, because I just didn't write a Pokemon down, I made it a really, really poor play. And then not Volt Switching on the Mesprit the second turn as well, I thought was really disappointing. So, yeah, I'm disappointed with the way I played the early game. Towards the end, I made some aggressive plays that he called me out on. That happens. You have to do that. Sometimes I have no regrets about those plays. Frankly, I don't regret spiking or SDing. I think they were just plays I had to make. That's life. But yeah, he for sure outplayed me and for sure deserved his W here. Hopefully we will get to rematch him in playoffs. I 100% want to try and make playoffs in this league, of course, like we always do. And hopefully, I'm sure Ultraplayer will be there. So hopefully we can meet him again in playoffs and get some revenge. This man is now 4-0 versus me. It's completely unacceptable. So I have to try and get some revenge in playoffs. But yeah, GG to my opponent. I thought he played very, very well. Next week we are taking on SareneGrace, who recorded this battle for us. So hopefully we can bounce back next week. I want to give her a much better battle than I gave Ultraplayer. Hopefully we can do that. I will 100% bring a team I'm more comfortable with. But regardless, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary. Let me know about the layout and stuff. I hope it is big enough game screen and everything like that. The reason that we're using this layout, for those of you that have made this far in the video, is because I think it's very important on these post-coms to be able to have the Pokemon visible on the layout for me to kind of cross out as they go down. I think that's really, really important for you guys following the battle along and understanding the analysis. So regardless, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.